Hello, everyone. Welcome to Listen in 3D, episode number 5. I'm your boy, Justin Reed, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are Team 3D, Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music, the albums, and the world of hip hop and other genres. And on today's episode, we got a great one for you today. But before we get started, first and foremost, call to action. If you've liked our video or like our videos, if this is your first or second time here, definitely give up the video a like, comment. We will take any feedback. As always, share this around and subscribe. That really helps us a lot for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to go even further, if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell so that way you get a notification of when all our videos go live. That way, you never miss a beat. And now, with all that out of the way, bring it over to you, Netta. But first, real quick, how's your week been? How you been? Just do a little.
It's been pretty good. It's Friday today, so I'm excited about that. How about you?
Yeah. Thank goodness it's Friday. At the time of this recording, I just had a birthday yesterday. Spent it with the wife. We went over to Super Nintendo World, which is in Universal Studios Hollywood, which was real fun. Yeah,
I saw that on your page. What is that place like? Do you like ride rides?
it's an amusement park. You can ride rides, and then they had like a little new section, Super Nintendo World. They had this new Mario Kart ride, which was pretty fun, and then they also have like other rides too, Transformers, The Mummy, Jurassic World, Simpsons. We also went on the tram lot tour. I think that's what they call it, and the Harry Potter rides in the Harry Potter world that there is. We got season passes, so we'll be going back at some point. So, oh yeah, before I forget,
Yeah,
also,
it looked really cool.
oh yeah, before I forget, also, if you are listening to us on any of our platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever the case may be, just be sure, give us a like and feedback. Once again, it will help us a lot. So, but yeah, going back to that, yeah, it was real fun. It was real neat. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, told you before, I'm a big video game guy. So, definitely going to a place like Super Nintendo World was a dream come true. And hopefully it only gets better over the years. So, without, with the
That
small,
that's awesome.
yeah, definitely. So with that out of the way, you want to lead us into the discussion of the album being discussed today?
Yeah, so today we'll be discussing Tupac's "Me Against the World." It was his third album, released on March 14th, 1995. It was certified double platinum. It has three singles: "Dear Mama," "So Many Tears," and "Temptations." And all three of those had music videos. It had guest appearances from Dramacidal, later known as the Outlaws, and Richie Rich.
All right. So, real quick, what were your thoughts about this album going in? Did you have like any expectations or anything like that, or I mean, did you hear anything
This
about this album?
well, I'm a fan of Tupac's other music, so I had high expectations going in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, I heard some of the more popular songs on here, but I definitely had very high expectations going in. It
Okay.
just reminds me of the '90s. How about you?
Well, I mean, I hear from a lot of people that this is his best work. And arguably, I think it is. Is it my favorite Tupac record? I'll be honest with you, no. Hopefully, we do discuss his my favorite one at some point. You know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know what it is. And yeah. But I think it probably is his best record, maybe single record. I mean, if you want to put it up against All Eyes on Me, I'm sure that's debatable. But for what he did with this, I think it's a incredible piece of work. So actually, hold on a second. Hold on. Yeah, I usually like to get all the CDs I have, but let me see if I can find this one. If I, because I know I had this one somewhere. If not, then it's okay. But I meant to look for it before
Were
we start
you
recording.
were you listening to it in the 90s or later on?
A little bit about that. I listened to it later on. Later on, I didn't buy it like on day one or anything like that. And yeah, I don't think I have it. Yeah, I think I would have found it by now, but yeah, forgive me, audience. You usually like to have these things prepared, but it kind of just slipped my mind. I thought I had this one. Oh well, maybe it was in some of the CDs that I had thrown out, I guess. But I did have this at one point on CD. So, um, but at any record, at any way, just his albums on for you for those you watching. You know, the artwork's on the video you guys are watching. So, with that being said, let's get into I guess, the album artwork, the themes. Before we continue, I'll read this verbatim. It's off the Wikipedia page for Me Against the World. You guys can just Google, look for this if you want. But it says, Me Against the World was really to show people that this is an art to me, that I do take it like that. And whatever mistakes I make out of ignorance, not out of disrespect to music or the art. So Me Against the World was deep reflective. It was like a blues record. It was down home. It was all my fears, all the things I just couldn't sleep about. Everybody thought that I was living so well and doing so good that I wanted to explain it. And it took a whole album to get it all out. It's explaining my lifestyle, who I am, my upbringing, and everything. It talks about the streets, but talks about it in a different light. There's a song on there dedicated to mothers, just a song I wrote just for my mother, and it digs deeper like that. I just wanted to do something for all mothers. I'm proud of that song. It affected a lot of people, and that's from Tupac himself. So that gives you a little theme of what the album is and that sort of thing. What were your thoughts on the themes, like from the other songs and stuff? Anything stand out to you?
Well, I guess it makes a lot of sense, hearing that was his intentions for the album.
Mm.
Uh, the cover of the album shows him, like, standing, not smiling at all, in a very, like, dark corner, and it is really reflective of the album, and it's a dark album. He's
Yeah,
talking about, I think on almost every song he's talking about death.
yeah. He talks a lot of stuff on the album. I don't think every song. Maybe there are like a handful of songs he doesn't talk about death, but I mean, I know for me, it just gives me an idea of what he was going through during that time, especially with the intro, like, just him being shot, him, having his chances of, lower survival, checking himself out of the hospital. I think the only positive thing was he was acquitted for that run-in he had with those two off duty Atlanta cops on Halloween of '93, I think it was. But I mean, otherwise, I really think that we just get a piece of what was just going on during that time, and I'm sure you did your research on this. He was incarcerated during this time when the album came out. So yeah, and we'll lead that into the singles also. And I'm sure you saw something in the music videos also that we'll go over just here shortly. So, but I mean, but the intro. I mean, the intro was the intro, and I just love the fact that there's just no preludes, no skits trying to be funny. It was just straight music. Maybe it was a bit darker. I don't think we see like his real party side on this album. I guess that's fair to say. But
Yeah, there was only, like, probably a couple songs where he was, like, just talking about something light
hmm
and happy.
yeah,
I like the intro too, though. It kind of just gives you an insight into it, it gives you an insight into everything going on in his world at that moment. From the headlines.
yeah,
A lot of the stuff going on. It was pretty cool.
yeah. All right. Well, What did you think the best beats were, best produced songs were on the album in terms of just beats alone? We'll get into our favorites later on as always, but yeah, just the best beats based on hearing the album, listening to the singles, the music videos.
I liked So Many Tears. I don't know what instrument that was when it's like, "Meow, meow." I
I
don't know if it's a
think it's
violin or a
a
saxophone or.
harmonica.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's a
I
harmonica.
like
I
that.
could be wrong, but I think it's a harmonica. Yeah, it's an interesting song. I mean, for the most part, like with that chorus, just I think for me, I could break it up into several different categories. I think of all the singles, I did like the guitar riffs or whatever you call them in "Dear Mama," and then other songs that I think I that were had really good beats were the title track "Me Against the World" and "Can You Get Away" also that I think had a really good beat as well. But I think the album's very well produced. I don't think there was really one bad beat on here, or just something that's just like a throwaway beat. So, but at any rate, so let's get into the singles. Which one would you like to discuss first?
Um, let's do Dear Mama first.
Dear
That
Mama.
was
It was the first single,
yeah,
so it makes the most sense. All right.
yeah.
Any thoughts on the this song with Dear Mama? Did it
I
remind you of someone you know or yourself with your relationship with your mama or anything like that?
um, I mean, in a way, it just talks about kind of his evolution from being a kid and being mad at her about little stupid shit all the time
Yeah.
to growing up and realizing how much that she really like had to sacrifice and how much she had to do on her own. I think even if people don't have a mom who's like on drugs or even if they're not going through like poverty, you can relate to that because you think back at when you were a kid, the things that you were so upset about, and now it's like
Yeah.
that was really silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he definitely had ups and downs with his mom, according to this song, and definitely talked about all the bad things he did, and just giving his mom credit for being a single parent, which I could relate to. I grew up in a single parent home. Just a little bit about me, but um, yeah, being a single parent trying to raise two kids, even more, it's very hard. So I mean, definitely give, his mama and all the other mamas out there credit, the ones that are there for their kids anyway. So, um,
Yeah. I
so
think I like how he specifically references being the woman trying to
yeah,
raise a man. I guess it's different, and he says
yeah, it's different
e- even though the people that he looked to as father figures was the ones that
on the
he was
streets.
selling drug yeah, he was
Yeah,
selling drugs with them, but they still showed him a sense of brotherly love that he just hadn't found yet, and
yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
yeah. Sometimes it really sucks. Sometimes that you got to go that way, to get um to get some male inspiration out there, like leadership from like other males, and just in any single boy or even single girl that that's being raised in a single parent household. If the opposite sex ain't there, like if you're a dude, definitely look to other guys out there who are grown for male role model inspiration, and females as well. I definitely do feel that fathers and mothers are definitely very, very important, in the household. So especially to a kid's upbringing. So I mean, and that's what I had to do for the most part. Just look to other people's, like some of my friends' fathers, basketball coaches I had growing up. So getting that, yeah, finding that inspiration sometimes can be a little tricky, but it also does depend, on your upbringing, areas, that sort of thing. F
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is I like how he kept repeating there's no way I could pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. it just kind of refers
Yeah.
to the indebtedness that a child will have to their parent, and it's like you pretty much have to try to pay that forward with, if you have children, or even if you don't have children, you just feel this sense of indebtedness that you'll never be able to do for them what they've done for you, and that's the beauty of it. They did it just for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Any thoughts on the music video?
Um, ye- yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that was his actual mom in there, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Once again, don't quote me on that, but I wish they had put that part in the actual song with her talking instead of, having to watch it on the music video. I think if they ever do remaster this or anything, hopefully they do add that part. I think that's a
I
perfect.
like when
Mm,
she's. I'm sorry. I like when she's saying that sh- she was incarcerated,
yeah,
and she thought she was gonna be incarcerated at the time of Tupac's birth, but she was granted some kind of reprieve
yeah,
a month prior, and she was able to get out, and she was
yeah,
so happy.
yeah. She was pregnant with
She finna have him on the
in jail,
sideline.
so definitely he definitely wasn't wasn't a jail baby. But I think that's a perfect example of her talking at the beginning is bringing a music video to life. And that's what I like about music videos. I mean, lyric videos, you could say, I guess you can kind of say with them on the uprise that they also bring songs to life. But I think the actual music video does it justice. So anyway, next single off this album was So Many Tears, and I get so many tears just listening to this song. um, what were your initial thoughts on So Many Tears?
It was the he talked the way he talked about death. I mean, it wasn't just that he was talking about death. It's like the way he's talking about it, like how he's pretty sure that he's not gonna live a long life.
Hmm.
He's saying my every move is a calculated step to bring me closer to embracing early death. Like he's trying to really he understands he's not gonna live long, and he's trying to like come to grips with it,
Yeah,
and he uh he almost sees himself as deserving of eternal torture, uh, and he's imagining a heaven for a G,
yeah.
because he doesn't think he belongs in the other heaven. But
Hmm.
I mean, also he's like 20 something, but to me, I'm just like, look, I mean, we're two people sitting here on opposite sides of the world in 2023 listening to his music and trying to connect with it. Like he would be the probably the least deserving person to,
Yeah.
go to hell.
Yeah. I do bump this song from time to time. Not one of my favorites from them. I'm going to be honest with you, but I mean, I think the beat's very, very well done with the harmonica and in the chorus. I suffered through the years and shed so many tears. So I mean, I think all the verses were well written, but it's like you read some of the verses like deeply. It's just like, damn, this guy really did think he wasn't going to live long, and it's just I don't know, what he did or if how he predicted that or how he could have predicted that. I just feel that it's just very sad to like when you hear songs like this. And I do think this is definitely a perfect example of Tupac talking about dying more than people actually think. I mean, if you hadn't listened to Me Against the World, definitely give it a listen. But there are some good highlights on here also. Any thoughts on the music
Yeah,
videos?
it was. So many tears. I'm trying to remember. Uh,
I mean,
I can't really think of
it
anything.
wasn't too much to remember about it. Just hearse going around, and then you see images of him. It was kind of like he was already dead, kind of, but he was incarcerated during that time. And then let's move on to the last single, Temptations. No, this was an interesting song.
Um, it wasn't my favorite personally, but I like the way he was like just talking about how he's juxtaposing his natural desires
Hmm.
against what in ideal world he wants to be like a nice husband who's
Yeah,
faithful, but in this world he's a young guy, he wants to have sex.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
yeah. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what the theme of the song was. And if you saw the music video, I think that kind of runs deeper than. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting music video, but I mean, I do like the song. Once again, it's not one of my favorites, but I mean, I feel that just definitely it was one of the, I guess, brighter parts of the album, not having to do with death, if that makes sense. So I don't condone cheating or anything like that, but I mean, if it's going away from the path of death or anything like that, it I'll take it at this point. But any
He's
thoughts
talking
on
about creating life.
any thoughts on the video for this one?
I think I saw Busta Rhymes in it,
Um,
and I think I saw like a
all
a
the
girl a girl scene.
Oh, so you didn't know a lot of so. All right, so interesting part about Temptations is, yeah, there were a lot of cameos. Coolio was at the beginning. I'm sure you recognized him. He was the bellhop walking around, peeping in peepholes to see, what was going on. But, so, but it also had other cameos too. Ice T, he was the guy bossing that bellhop around. Warren G, Adina Howard, Salt and Pepper. I think Jada Pinkett was also in the video, just to name a few celebrities. I forget verbatim who was in the video, but
She wasn't the one in the tub, huh?
I want to say Jada Pinkett was a one in that red dress who was dancing for Coolio. I think
Oh,
that was her. I could be wrong. Um,
okay.
yeah, us. Yeah, the whole list right here. Yeah, she was in it. Marcus Chong, Kenya Moore, Be Real from Cypress Hill, Tret from Naughty by Nature. Yeah, they really, from what I was told, they were really down for Pac, and they wanted to really make this video happen for him. So I think that's just a perfect example of the hip hop community just getting behind the artist and being able to do what he can't do, unfortunately, because he was incarcerated during that time. And um, if you've noticed with all three music videos, he was not in any one of them. His likeliness was shown in pretty much all of them. I think Dear Mama, I think, his likeliness was there. And then the images from the So Many Tears video was from other music videos. I think Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up. So,
What's crazy is
mhm.
I didn't even notice that he wasn't there, but he really wasn't there.
Yeah, now that you're thinking about it, yeah. And then the guy walking by in the beginning, yeah, that I think Temptations did like the kind of the shittiest job of saying, "Hey, that was Tupac." When Coolio says that, to be like, that clearly was not Tupac. Like, come on now. So yeah, but I think all videos were. I would have to say Temptations was my favorite because of all the cameos, definitely. So, um, but I think all the videos were done great. Favorite single off this album had to be "Dear Mama," so it wasn't one of my top three favorites that we'll discuss in a minute, uh, but so I should have probably asked you that. Like, see if you can notice something in all three music videos, and yeah, he was not in any one of them. So
Yeah, but his I guess his presence was felt to such a
yeah,
degree that I
yeah,
literally didn't even notice.
yeah, yeah. So if you ever show any of these three videos from the Me Against the World album, yeah, just be like, hey, like to your friends, say, what do all three videos have in common? Yeah, Tupac wasn't any one of them. Yeah, definitely the community held it down for Pac, so I'm glad videos were made for him. All right, so our favorites. What is your first pick for favorite song? No particular
I
order.
like I liked me against I like me against the world. I was really surprised that that wasn't one of the singles, seeing as that's the name of the album.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right. Anything about Me Against the World that you liked in particular? Drama Saito's appearance, or the beat? I think it did have one of the best beats.
I did like the appearances, but I mean, kind of along with the death thing. Even though he was talking about death in this one, he's
Hmm.
almost like speaking from the grave in a way. He's like saying, he, he
I think we lost Netta.
never
Netta.
stop asking questions.
Hmm. Netta, are you still there? Can you hear me, Netta?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you kind of froze there for a minute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, my bad.
No, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
Keep going. Keep
I
going.
was just saying I like how he was even though he's still like speaking as if he won't be here long, he's still encouraging others to like strive to be their best. He's like never stop asking questions, even the genius asks questions. Um he's uh he's just telling people to continue to strive. Um I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, we agree on one song. Me Against the World is one of my favorites, actually, too. And it's actually my favorite song on the whole CD. Now that I think, that after reviewing the whole CD, or record, album, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, he definitely does deliver like the best message, like of all the verses. The third verse, I think, what was like one of the best verses probably on the whole CD. I thought he killed it. Great beat, and I guess one thing I was waiting for, if you didn't bring it up, I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Bad Boys. It was on the soundtrack for that, and if you ever watched the movie Bad Boys, there's a scene in the movie where the song comes up. So yeah, I'm surprised that it was not a single myself. If I were, to redo the whole thing or add a fourth single, it would have been, yeah, this had to be a single. I'm surprised that it wasn't, but it was a single in Europe. From what After doing some research, it was a single in Europe. So uh,
You know what? I think this might be the first time that we have picked the same song as our favorite song, and
yeah,
that's what lets you know how good it is.
it's a great song. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not my constant rotation, but it's definitely like on my favorites like playlist. Definitely you'll see that song, and it's definitely one of the highlights of this album. All right, so give me another song. What would be your second favorite, or just
I like that second one. If I die tonight, um,
oh,
I
you
liked
did.
when I liked cause the the main thing I liked was how he was just using the letters. Like he had a lot of
Hmm.
alliteration. You know, pussy, paper, poetry, powers, pistols, pussy. I I picturing pitiful punk niggas copping please, puffing weed. Like
Yeah,
I love that, and he used that throughout it, not just with the P's. He went to the S's, the W's, the
yeah,
B's. It was awesome.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorites, but I will go with this. This one. I mean, it's another song of Revolving Death, and it's called "Death Around the Corner." And I love the intro to this, where why you by the window? What's wrong, Daddy? I'll tell you why he's by the window. He's sitting there with that egg. It's just like so. That was kind of. I mean, I don't think the album's so funny or anything, but that was probably like if you were looking for any comedy, yeah, that would probably be a funny highlight for. I see death around the corner, and then I don't know. I'm not sure what sample they used, but like the chorus of the song, uh, he what they say. When we were kids,
They
belonging
said
felt
I
good.
used
Yeah,
right.
but but having respect that feels even better. It was from a movie. I gotta do some research, see what movie it was from. But um, Yeah,
I was
yeah,
imagining it was like some kind of like mafia
yeah.
kind of guys or something.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at the end, it had to be because I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground. I want to go in there in the middle of the night. I want to piss on his head, or I want
Yeah.
that son of a bitch dead. I want him. Yeah. So it's. I mean, I guess if there was a funny song, it probably would be that one. But I think it was a very well written song. And once again, I think it just shows like his paranoia, just that someone wanted him dead, apparently. So, but
Yeah.
that would be, one of my songs. My second favorite song. What is your third song, or what's your third favorite, or
Um,
pick number three, whatever you want to call it?
I liked Lord Knows.
Lord
Um,
knows.
yeah, he was wait, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here.
Oh
But
no, you're good.
I guess he was just going through his going through some stuff at that time, and I just like when people just let their emotions out and let them fly like that. I think the first thing and the last thing he said is like,
Mm,
I smoke a blunt to take the pain away.
yeah,
I smoke a blunt to take the pain out, and if I wasn't high, I'd probably try to blow my brains out.
yeah. That's a good verse.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
well, Lord knows wasn't one of my picks. Last song I'm going with is Outlaw. Outlaw, I thought was a great song. Again, he has Ramacido with him there, and that's also a. I'm not sure if I shouted out this beat earlier on, but that's also another great beat from this album. So definitely, I think that was kind of the birth of him and the Outlaw, saying that he was an outlaw. Looking at the whole track, and just a very well produced song. Uh, just it's.
I liked that beat too. That was my runner up.
Okay, that was your runner-up for favorite beat. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that was also a good one. And then him talking to like a little 11-year-old or whatever. At the beginning of the at the beginning of the song, like, what do you want to be when you grow up, bro? Are you? I want to be an outlaw. Housing these those or what? So I mean, but it was a good song, and the Outlaws I think killed it in the end, and definitely if you do listen to this album, I think anyone who listens, I mean, it's the final song. I think they'll really like Outlaw, so definitely check it out. A few honorable mention songs I want to give is "Fuck the World." I thought that was a very excellent song as well. These were some runner ups I had. "It Ain't Easy." I like the beat there, just smooth, nice, smooth, easy beat. "Can You Get Away?"
I like that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. "Can You Get Away?" And then "Old School" also was a good song as well. I think maybe that was like the actual song because he was just giving it up to straight up old school artists that paved the way. So that was a good song also. Any
That
other?
was the happiest song, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Old School probably was the happiest song on there. Just yeah. He shouted out, LL Cool J, Melly Mel, just whole other group of artists. Brooklyn in the house, and then "Can You Get Away" was very, very close, but I just had to go with those three: "Me Against the World," "Death Around the Corner," and "Outlaw." Those were my favorites, on the whole project. Um, so, any other songs you wanted to shout out before we move on?
I like the "It Ain't Easy" one too.
Yeah, it ain't
It
easy.
was so simple. It was so simple. It was like almost like somebody just saying it to themselves, like it ain't
Yeah.
easy being me. But it was,
Mm.
I could tell he was serious
Yeah,
too.
he was
I
serious.
like that.
Yeah, probably the happiest song on the album had to be "Old School." So,
Yeah, it
all
was
right.
nostalgic. I could tell.
All right. So, doing the research for this album, I didn't see any other album cuts or anything on the expansions. However, if you do want to find more recorded material during this time, check out his second album after he died. How Are You Still Down? Remember Me. It has material recorded from this album, his previous album before that, Strictly for My Niggas, and I think the Thug Life project also. So it has unreleased material that made it to that CD. So check that out if you're looking for anything else that was made during that time. Recommendations. I listed 3 albums that um, I thought fans would like. I tried to keep it to the Bay Area since when he started rapping, he came from the Bay. I'll highlight E40's In a Major Way. Fun fact about this one is this album came out the same day as the one we're talking about, Me Against the World. So both those albums dropped the same day, and Tupac makes an appearance on that album. So definitely check it out. Richie Rich, Seasoned Veteran. Tupac also makes an appearance there. That came out in 96. I want to say late 96, but yeah, 96. And then Spice One's America's Nightmare. Came out the year before, 94, and Tupac also makes an appearance on there. So if you want to see what other artists Tupac was working with during that time, those were 3 artists he was working with. They're all from the Bay Area, so hopefully you all enjoy. All right, Netta, so any closing thoughts on this album before we put this episode in the books?
Just an album that I really recommend, even though it's very dark. It's insightful, and it's like a little prophetic in a way. I would recommend it.
All right. Yeah, same here. I definitely recommend it. And I think if we ever decide to do like a versus album thing on the show, I mean, it would probably have to go up against All Eyes on Me. So, I listened to this album, and the fact that I just got to look at the other things too. The fact that he only has like 3 appearances from Dramacidal and Richie Rich on this album, the fact that he was able to just do this whole thing without like all the features, I think it makes this album excellent. So definitely recommend. Any tracks that you're taking back to your everyday playlist?
Of course, Dear Mama and If I Die Tonight. I, yeah.
Oh yeah, all right. And then for me, Me Against the World, um, yeah, definitely. And then Outlaw, and what's the other one? Death Around the Corner. Definitely those 3. And then, oh yeah, before I forget, what was your least favorite track? I'm almost forgetting that.
This was one of the ones you liked, but I didn't really care for Can You Get Away. I don't know why. It's
Hmm.
like I don't want to hear him like talk
Yeah,
about this.
I
It's
mean,
like
it was on the
he
same
says
level.
he's
Yeah.
in a position of pressure and awkward competition, and I'm like, no, you're Tupac. You don't have to compete. But I don't know. I didn't like it.
I know he had a lot of songs about death on this album, but I could have did away with "If I Die Tonight." I know it was one of the songs you liked, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do like the sampling. It's not a bad beat or anything. It's just like of all the death songs on the album, I just think "Death Around the Corner" was a lot better. I can see what you're saying about "Can You Get Away." That's probably one reason why I didn't knock it into my top 3. It's just yeah, but I think it's better than Temptations. Quite frankly, I think all our 3 picks, the fact that we didn't have any singles just shows you just how, I mean, maybe he could have dug a little deeper. I really think if he was out of jail, Me Against the World would have been a single, not just in Europe, but it's a great song. All right, folks. So, what did you guys think of the album? What were your favorite tracks? Anything we missed? Just let us know in the comments. Once again, for Wondrous Netta, I'm Justin Reed, aka Too Tall for You Fool, and you've been watching or listening to Listen in 3D episode number 5. Please tune in for any more content that we have coming. We have a lot of great stuff coming, so keep it locked here. Thank you, guys.